Real evidence that we need twice as many accountants, twice as many lawyers as we did just 15 years ago. So I think inevitably there's an awful lot of graduates who are coming out of university now who simply don't have those graduate level vacancies to go on to.
I think it's giving graduates a reality check to say that the degree isn't the be-all and end-all, and it's something you should be working with as well as part-time work or trying to get your foot into a company initially while you're doing your degree, because when you come out there isn't necessarily going to be a position waiting for you.
Edgehill University say that they are happy that Paul found work with a major retailer. They add the nature of the initial jobs that their graduates will get vary according to the state of the labour market in any particular year. Back to our panel. Lucy, Isabella and Harrison are interested in doing vocational degrees which are professionally accredited and in some cases make you ready for the workplace.
That's degrees like quantity surveying, pharmacy, and those degrees you're trained up in the degree and you're pretty much work ready to start working in that field, and often the employment rates are very, very good, and also you can do those degrees at new universities and your employment rates are still brilliant.
But this is not always the case. Harrison wants to do something related to sport, teaching or journalism, and it's his options which show how going to university won't necessarily pay off, something he's very worried about.
I thought it was going to be quite a lot to start with when it was lower, but now it's been increased. I don't know if I want to go to university with that debt on my back.
One course he's spotted combines two of his interests, a sports journalism course at Brighton University, which sounds pretty impressive.
Career opportunities include newspaper, magazine, radio, television and online journalism, as well as associated roles in public relations and media management in sport organisations.
Government statistics show that for 2009, 70% of Brighton's sports journalism graduates were in work or further study. But it seems that's not the whole story.
This degree is accredited, it's got professional accreditation. Okay. I looked at a website called Unistats and it says 30% of graduates from the journalism courses at Brighton have gone on to become media associate professionals. 30%. How do you feel about that?
30% seems quite a small percentage, but I think if I work hard at something that I like doing, then I could be one of that 30%. But...
Harrison, you're an intelligent guy. For me, the idea of you going off to do sports journalism is kind of everything that's wrong with the university landscape at the moment. Because if you go and do a sports journalism course, there's a 70% chance that you won't become a sports journalist. So you need to be very careful about acquiring lots of debt doing that degree.
While Star Careers experts question the value of doing a journalism degree at Brighton, the university takes a different view. They point out that given the competitive nature of the journalism profession, the fact that 30% of our graduates are employed within the media within 6 months of graduating is actually a success. And they are confident that studying sports journalism at Brighton does increase your chances and general employability. Across the country, both parents and teachers are beginning to reassess if degrees represent value for money.
Many of our parents have bought into the idea that to have a higher education degree ensures better jobs, better prospects in life in the future. We have to be convinced that's still going to be the case. We will be looking very much more at statistics such as which degree courses lead to employment.
So students are starting to act more like consumers, shopping around for the best deal. But many career and recruitment experts feel that universities aren't providing enough clear information to help them make the right decisions.
At this moment in time, university online prospectuses do not give us enough information about the graduate outcomes of their students. The information is often vague and arguably misleading.
Last year, the government asked universities to publish employability statements, outlining the potential career benefits and support available to successful sixth form applicants. According to critics, too many of these statements are short of hard facts about the possible outcomes.
We don't leave you to your own devices after you graduate. For 3 years after your studies, you have access to our
The value of
career
our graduates
service.
to employers comes from a comprehensive, institution-wide and subject-varied approach to
Our
employability
high
and
employment
career.
rate is founded on the university's integrated life cycle approach to enhancing student employability. Okay, buzzword bingo, I feel. And I don't know how useful a comment like that is to a 17 or 18-year-old student who maybe has had no experience of higher education. It's almost bland, meaningless words.
And the lack of information can also leave graduates unclear about the merits of doing a particular course at a particular university. Remember Paul, our graduate who's working his way up from the shop floor at Boots? He got an upper second-class degree at Edgehill University. Now, according to the most up-to-date government statistics, Edgehill University has the second best employability record in the country, with 95% of all graduates in employment or further study.
The latest results produced by the Higher Education Statistics Agency placed the university second in England for graduate employment in the first destination survey for 2009, beaten only by the University of Surrey.
That ranks Edgehill above Oxford and Cambridge. But when Tonight challenged Edgehill on the value of that 95% figure, the university clarified the detail and stated that in the case of business and management studies, the course that Paul did, only around 56% of their 2009 leavers were in graduate jobs or conducting further studies 6 months after leaving. Edgehill University says it is close to the top of the graduate employment statistics tables. And for 2009, the average Edgehill graduate salary was over £22,000 6 months after graduation. Some of those employability statements are so vague as to be practically useless.
I agree with you, some of the statements are too vague, and what we really need is specific information about employment outcomes from specific courses. That's what we're going to require universities to release as information.
But for a 17-year-old now who's making those difficult decisions, where on earth do they go?
Well, as I said, there are individual universities. There is, of course, also their own careers advice support at their school or college, and there should be someone at your school or college who can help you with that sort of information.
Back to our university challenge, and Emma and Harry have decided they want to make careers out of their hobbies. Harry wants to study film production. Emma originally wanted to do psychology, but with fees going up, she's decided she wants to do a course which will prepare her for working in the equine industry.
It's pushed me more towards this because, again, it would be cheaper, but I was already thinking of it, but I wasn't thinking of it as sort of a really big option.
The problem is neither Harry nor Emma is looking at professionally accredited courses, which means that their degrees will not necessarily be recognised by prospective employers. So what do the panel think?
From your knowledge, what do you think the industry that you want to go into prefers that you do next?
I think it would probably be something like an apprenticeship, but I don't really know much about them, because you don't really hear of many people working in the equine industry who do have a degree in that.
You need to just do some sums. You need to work out what sort of salary that you'll be getting. It may be that average salaries in the horse industry are actually salaries where you won't be paying back very much.
Yeah, I was talking to someone and they were saying you won't earn over £21,000 in the horse industry or in certain parts, so it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, but when you do an apprenticeship, you're earning, whereas at university, you're not. You're just paying for experience.
The students who took our university challenge have only just begun to weigh up what they may study there. By the end of this year, they will have made one of the most important decisions of their lives. To help them make that decision, they'll be given career guidance and tutorials.
We have a specialist professional tutor team who are very skilled, very expert at giving advice. They know what they're doing, they're experts in the field. And advising people on courses is one thing, advising people on whether they can afford it is quite another, and I don't think they have the expertise for that.
But just at the time when careers advice has never been more necessary, it's under threat. Farnborough College is expecting a budget cut of around 27% in real terms. Unions are also currently fighting cutbacks to local career services, who work closely with many schools. Local authorities are facing massive cuts, of course. The careers service is being reorganised. One sixth form college principal we've spoken to is very concerned that at a time when pointing young people in the right direction is more important than ever, he may not have the resources to do it.
That kind of information should be provided by schools and colleges, and we're going to absolutely require them to do that in the future.
But those parents and those pupils are looking at the latest unemployment figures, and they're thinking, my child in 3 years is going to be thousands and thousands of pounds in debt, and who knows whether they will get a job.
And even if when you first leave university, you're not in what's called a graduate level job, you've still got a very good chance within a few years of moving onwards and upwards. So going to university is by and large a good option for young people, which is why it's only fair to expect them, if they're graduates and benefiting from it, to pay something back.
For the class of 2012, the decision they're now facing may well be the most important and most difficult of their young lives.
It kind of motivates you to work harder because you want to set yourself apart from the other university applicants.
Such a sort of big decision to have to make, I think, when you've got so much else going on.
It does sort of hit you at once. It's like you have to be prepared all of a sudden. The future is coming, you have to be ready, and it's not waiting for you.
Universities UK, the organisation representing more than 100 of Britain's universities, says the information its members provide for students has improved. It's now consulting with the government and the education sector on how to improve things further. Now, if you'd like more information on tonight's programme, please visit our website at itv.com/tonight. Until next week, though, good evening and thanks for watching. Next week, is television guilty of excluding older faces from our screens? Former Countryfile presenter Miriam O'Reilly, who won her case of ageism against the BBC, investigates.
A home with a dark secret. Join us tonight when we bring you brand new ITV1 drama, Marchlands. That's at 9. Next tonight, though, find out if Andy's okay in Emmerdale.
Within a wild pride, how those females are locked together provides security to the pride as a whole.
There was no jealousy or anything like that. They just thought, wow, this band is so much better than anybody else.
Ruth won't accept Alice is gone.
I know she's dead, but she's still here.
It's just grief.
No, it's more than that.
What, ghosts?
A flight to Budapest from only $34.99. Check. Murcia from only $29.99. Check. And Madeira from only $49.99. Check. A whopping 22-kilogram bag allowance from only $12.99, so you can pack even more into your holiday.